Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm actually quite excited right now because this time we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna go through a hero that all the players love, all the players hate, and has some really bad reputation, and that hero is Pudge. Pudge, in my opinion, is probably one of the most fun heroes in the game, and for me it's also a hero that, at least for the laning stage, has a lot of success. In my opinion, Pudge has a really strong mid game, and he has also really strong laning stage, similar to Dawnbreaker or Trend Protector or Undying, if you've seen these guides and you would know. So yeah, what we'll do is go and learn this time how to play Pudge in the laning stage. Hi, my name is Jeff, aka Raza, and what we do in this channel is actually do support guides only for the laning stage, and we go through a lot of examples good, bad examples, mediocre, and of course the thought process, itemization, and skill build behind every single laning stage. And we try to make simple guides fundamentally explaining the hero. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and like. It would actually help me a lot, and of course comment. And because I've seen something like that, so generally I would just appreciate if you were to help me. And without wasting time, let's jump into that.
Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster.
As usual, what we're gonna do is talk a little bit about the laning stage, a little bit explain the hero fundamentally. We've done this in other guides. So the reason why I think, in my opinion, Pudge is a really strong support are three things. One, a lot of base damage, right? Has a lot of base damage. Number two, he has a lot of health, right? Number three, he has a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6 power spike. What does this mean? That means level 1, you can just get Orb of Venom, like with Trend Protector, Dawnbreaker, and Dying. It's in the similar type of hero. So you can just get Orb of Venom with the Rod. There is not a hero that can actually outrun you, right? There are type of heroes, and we'll discuss about that later on. Number two, Midhook. That's a lot of damage. It doesn't matter, like from patch to patch, might be less mana cost, more mana cost, pure damage, magic damage, does not matter. Hook level 1 will always be a really good nuke. Number three, you don't really need to actually use Hook as a skill shot. All you need to do, and what you'll see me do, is actually think, do I die or do I not die if I start trading with the enemies? And if the answer is no, then you just run them down, and this is what you'll see. Number four is you trade almost really good and you shred support, and you'll see me do that, right? This is the reason why Pudge is really good in the laning stage. In the mid game, pretty much everybody knows how to play Pudge, but not everybody knows how to play Pudge in the laning stage. So let's start with the first game, right? And this is my starting items, right? 2 sentries, one to block this camp, one to deward this one. 1 observer. I usually take that away from the position 4 and like from the offlane, because I want to see what's going on to the lane. And Fairy Fire is really good nowadays. I get a salve and clarities, right? 1 clarity for the hook. So what you want to do is always analyze what you're gonna have in the offlane, right? So I'm playing with a Drow Ranger, and if you play with a Drow Ranger or Troll or Luna or Gyrocopter, is literally the same type of hero. You can just run them down. What you want to do is always fight for the level 2 and force things when you're level 2 and they're level 1. We've seen that in other guides. If you haven't seen Crystal Maiden, Undying, and so on, please go and do that, right? So I actually choose to get the rune here. That's a little bit of a trick, but you can do that. And yeah, the laning stage starts. Now, that was like, sometimes that can be a little bit of a mistake, because you can just go Rod, and that means you, if you go Rod, you can just run them down, right? So here's what I'm thinking. You have 2 options. Either split the lane in 2 1v1, and the way to do that is actually skill Rod and start chasing the enemy support down, right? You usually go for Orb of Venom versus heroes that cannot really disengage with you. So if I play versus Jakiro, Crystal Maiden, Wyvern, Silencer, this type of position 4/5, then you just get Orb of Venom and just start hitting them. If you play with something a little bit more tricky, Lion, Hoodwink, Rubick, that has Pudge, so even if you're on top of them, they can just run them down, or telekinesis, or stun, or bushwhack. We'll see examples later on, right? And you see that here I have the hook, so I try to utilize that. And sometimes Pudge is not about hook, and you'll see, like for example, I tried the hook, doesn't work out, shit happens. So what I'll try to do is be useful until I have my level 2. So I'm gonna use my right clicks to actually deny and fight for this level 2, right? So the game starts, and I try to find opportunities to deny as much as possible because I have a lot of base damage. What does this mean? I can actually deny a lot. And if I deny, I'm gonna get level 2 before them, right? That's a lot of pauses here. You see I get the deny there, and you know, you're just casually chilling, right? Perfect. And what's gonna happen here, let's go like back a little bit, like 10 seconds, is we need 1 creep for level 2, and we get to level 2, and look how aggressive we all of a sudden play. I get rot, this guy's out of position, he's level 1. Even if he was level 2, what probably he would just go for a glimpse, and we just run them down. Look how strong I am. I hook, and look how I hook. Again, I'm not some hook expert, you know, but sometimes if you play the hero a lot, you'll get used to that. He's like, you can't miss his hook, like it's in a row, in a line. And all of a sudden, look, this Underlord, he's alone, 2v1 scenario, and look at that. I hit him, and look at his movement speed, right? This is why Orb of Venom with Rod, even level 1, it's really strong, and like, he can't actually escape from me, right? And all of a sudden, we just run them down, and if you've seen other guys, what do? Single pull, usually, to keep the lane B over here. A lot of regen to actually be full mana, full health, and be able to do the same pattern again. And, well, we pretty much what we do is follow the same formula, right? So now that I have a little bit of low health, I can't really force the same interaction because I'm gonna die. But look, my next items, I chose Healing Salve on my Drow Ranger. You know, carry babies are usually cry babies. So I'm trying to find a really good hook. Doesn't work out, but in the end, it just doesn't matter, right? Perfect. Again, not full HP. Now, I'm landing the hook. The good thing about Pudge is hook is literally no risk, high reward. Honestly, this is the definition of hook. And all of a sudden, we get the kill. What do? Single pull and create the same. Single pull is our friend, right? Single pull, and what do? Use salve and create the same thing again and again. Now, I chose for level 2 hook. In my opinion, you keep the skill point. You know, you don't know what you're gonna need. And I feel like I'm really strong right now. If you see the CS, we are stomping this lane just because we got the first blood. I've used level 2 power spike, and all of a sudden I feel so strong. Look at that. Pudge is the type of hero that he can't really trade inside the creep wave, or he can. This is the hard thing about the hero. You need to calculate what's going on. And all of a sudden, look what's happening. I'm 2v1, I'm trading, and look how much time I'm actually providing. And look, Drow is actually coming. And the fairy fire here that we got in the beginning, look how, I really want to show you that. I'm actually being able to 1v2, look at that. I'm like, go, and look, my Drow Ranger, so much time. You see, I'm like, I have so much health, and this is like the strength of Pudge. At this moment, you know, we kill this guy, I'm disengaging, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna die, but at least my Drow is gonna get double kill. This laning stage is already over, right? And of course, we're gonna see more examples. What I'm gonna say is that even if you play position 4 or 5, what you want to do is always check the mid lane. You want to tip in the mid lane, get the smoke, make something happen. The reason why I don't do that is because my Drow Ranger has a lot of items that wants, you know, to get delivered. So, you know, I kind of have to go back. And look what's going on here. This guy's alone. Hook him. You can't really miss his hook. And this laning stage is over. How did we actually win this laning stage? We actually man-fight them. No need for hook. Literally man-fight the support. At this moment, I'm just gonna go show a little bit of Pudge, how strong he is, you know, trying to gank. You know, this is what you want to do generally versus heroes that you can actually kill. So if you play versus Ember Spirit, if he's level 6, you can't really kill him. If it's like pre-level 6, you can't really, you can actually kill him. If you play with Shadowfiend, for example, I die right now, and I understand, you know, I tried to kill, but I'm gonna go a little bit fast to the video to actually prove why Pudge is really strong. Even if you lose the laning stage, you know, or if you have a fine laning stage, he's a really, really solid support, right? And right now, I thought, okay, like, I approach the game like I'm not in the mid game already, right? I'm actually in the mid game. My Drow Ranger is having, look at her denies, look at the last hits, look at Underlord, and this is all Pudge, right? Literally, this is all Pudge. And right now I'm just trying to move around the map, make something happen. And what we ended up doing is actually counter triangle. This was actually a really, really good game, a really free win, I want to say. And look what we do, and we count the triangle at this moment. You know, it's like, oh, this is a dream, right? We just hook again and again, and the reason why Pudge is so strong is because you can just hook constantly again and again. You see how we actually try to snowball, and of course, in the mid game, if you're like playing Pudge like that, it's really easy to play because you're ahead, you have the vision, you can just get the hook. But I really want to show that the way to play Pudge is have the Orb of Venom. Can you just modify the opponent? This is the only thing that you need to actually see, and of course act like that. Modify, no need to hook. Use hook for a nuke instead of skill shot. But of course, some laning states are not as simple as that. But this is like the definition of a game why Pudge is so strong. So let's jump to another example and see another good laning stage with a let's say same thought process. So without wasting time, go into that. Game number 2, and let's go to another example where we had a really strong laning stage. I don't really want to say strong, rather than say that we actually outplayed the opponents. So I'm playing with PL, right? And we play versus a Rubick Beastmaster. If you don't know this matchup, Rubick and Beastmaster is really strong as a duo. Pudge PL don't really synergize as good as Drow, for example, or Troll with Pudge. And of course, if you are also not a carry player, you might not know that PL struggles a lot versus Beastmaster, right? And Pudge is not as good. It's not that good versus Beastmaster. You can get to use Hook, for example, in this patch to kill the catapult at the 5 and 10 minute mark. If he gets Helm of Dominator, you can get to kill his creep, but it's a little bit of skill shot. And you'll see me do you'll see us outplaying them a little bit with a little bit of good thought process. So first one, I went for Windlace. Beastmaster is gonna have a lot of boars, and with the slow from the boar and Rubick can actually get a lot of right clicks on me. What does this mean? If I get Orb of Venom, I can't actually commit as much as I would, for example, in the previous example versus Disruptor. I need to be able to engage and disengage, and I feel like Windlace is the way to go because I don't think I will get a lot of right clicks on a Rubick, right? So we try to check if they have ward here, don't really have a ward, and now I see this guy here. I'm actually trying to hook Beastmaster, to get some right clicks off, and this is really good for us. Why is that good for us? Because we are going to get level 2 faster, because most likely Beastmaster is going to go back and TP. That's going to give us a creep wave. Now, no matter what hero you play in the game, like, that's not really Pudge specific, but no matter what hero you play, you need as a support to always justify your existence to the lane. The first 5, 10, 15 minutes, I want to say 5, 10 actually, is where you are the strongest hero of the game, usually. What does this mean? Don't fucking wait to do some kind of hook or, find good opportunities. Do something. Deny. Mess up with the enemy creeps. Justify your existence to the lane, right? And this is like so important. So for example, I get to trade here. I'm like, okay, this is a really rough matchup for us. I might as well, this hero, like Tom, Rubick, and Beastmaster combined together are really strong. Individual, they're okay. So me and Rubick trade fine. PL and Beastmaster trade, I think Beastmaster trades a little bit better, but at least, we're gonna trade a little bit unfavorably, but if they're together, they can just destroy us. So this is like, I'm like, okay, that's a good opportunity for us to, get a little bit most out of the lane. And you see how I just trade with them, and now go back, a lot of salves, a lot of tangos. This is a lane where if we survive and we have as much gold as them, it is a win, okay? It is a win. And of course, the good thing about Pudge versus Beastmaster is that they can never actually take tower at 5 minutes in, because I can just get to hook the catapult, okay? So right now, finding the hook, justify the existence. If the hook does not hit, it's okay, I'm gonna use clarity to try again, okay? And of course, we don't get the kill, but it's a really good harass. You see, what I want you to do in this laning stage is my PL to actually hit creeps. Nothing more, nothing less. I want him to get the fucking level 6 and get out of here, if that's possible, right? Now, I have my level 2, which is my big power spike, for example. And we should try force. The way to win lanes is level 2 power spike before them, but if you see, that's not really the case, because Beastmaster is level 2, but you know, Rubick's level 1, so we still have a good opportunity. But most importantly, 2v1 scenarios, so I get to hook that. So instant hook, no hesitation. Do you see the cooldown on that? I mean, fuck this guy, honestly. I'm gonna hook it, and the good thing about Beastmaster is that without his boar, he's not actually that strong. Okay? So, you see, this is like a really good opportunity. No boar, I'm like, go. If I have Orb of Venom, this guy's dead, but, you know, you can expect the lane to go that well. We try to force him, we try to do something with that. Hook him again, and that's really good hook because he actually used a self here, you know, hook. And all of a sudden, this is a really good laning stage, right? Doesn't matter that we kill them. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My PL is actually farming. I'm just showing the CS there to actually see what's going on. And of course, hook again on the board. Fuck that board. Beastmaster is completely fucked, right? This is like a little bit Beastmaster specific. So what we try to do in the meantime, try to be useful. More consumables, more mana. All of a sudden, this can be a lane that we might win. You know, this is what I'm thinking. Do you see how I really want you to show that. Do you see this range creep over here? And do you see how I'm about to get level 3? And if they go to deny, look at that. The aggression. And all of a sudden, look at that. Rod, and we try to go for the kill. We hook, we don't kill them, you know. That's fine. Like, we don't actually get the Beastmaster kill. That is fine. We get the kill on lane. We're supposed to get literally fucked, right? This is a really rough matchup, right? And what we want to do, as usual, try to single pull. This sadly did not happen. I was too late. So what we want to do is single pull and bring the lane back, so we can actually keep the PL under the tower, so he can farm under tower, so he's gonna be safe, right? Of course, look what happens again. We try to use hook here, maybe try to find a kill. You know, if we get a kill, great. If we don't get a kill, I don't really mind. This is a lane stage we're supposed to actually lose. Now, as I told you in the previous game, what you want to do is rotate to the mid lane, but I already have a Batrider versus Ember Spirit. This is really good of a matchup. I could rotate there, but I felt like I should help my PL more at this moment, right? So going back to the laning stage, and of course, I felt like probably what I should have done is actually pull this one to keep the lane back. I felt like we're so strong. Hooking, of course, the Beastmaster summon units, pulling the way back, and what we try to do. Let's go back to see, you know, another hook. I think that's easy hooks. You don't really need a lot of experience. You know, you just see them. It's like in the line. Even if I don't get the kill, I'm actually really happy about that. The reason why that is because I actually want to harass them as much as possible. And now Beastmaster tries to do the classic Beastmaster move. What is that? Take the tower, and of course we don't let them. At any time I can just hook the catapult, and the catapult is gonna die. So yeah, at this moment I think we have a really strong laning stage. I'm showing the CS right now. The Scarlet Mage rotates, and this moment I want to say that the laning stage is actually over. You know, concussive shot here, and this guy is dead. The fact that I die means absolutely nothing because it's all about PL. I'm gonna actually keep the replay going a little bit because right now I feel like my PL is having a really solid time. What does this mean for me is, you know, I might as well try to make something happen in the mid game. You see that in the previous game as well. The moment you have a good laning stage, you try to approach, even for 5, 6, 7 minutes in, you try to approach a game as it is in the mid game already, right? Right now, Beastmaster tried to push. What you want to do is try to hook all his summoned units. At this moment, my PL has level 6. Against Scarlet Mage TPs, we get the kill. Laning stage is over. I'm gonna show the gold graph here. This is my PL. This is your Beastmaster. It's going great. Nothing more to say. Yes, Scarlet Mage did rotate, but in the end, you see how we approach the laning stage. And I'm gonna show another Beastmaster example. This time, I think I'm playing with Morphling, and it's really solid to understand that. Imagine you have a hero that's really strong in the mid game, just like Pudge, with the hooks, with the blink, with the Everlance, with the Glimmer Cape, with the shard, which is like absolutely busted. And you have also a really good laning stage. This is the way to go if you're a Pudge player. This is what you're supposed to do. No skill shots, run them down. In this game, I couldn't do that, so you might as well try to do skill shot, but I think you outplay them, be useful in the lane, I'll deny them, get to level 2, force them, have a lane ward, 2v1 scenario. Let's go game number 3. Okay, let's talk now about a game that actually started with the worst possible way for me, and it ended up being okay. This was not a stomp lane. This was not a bad lane or a good. It was like I think we outplayed them, but then some Beastmaster shit happened. So let's start into that. Now I have a Pudge and I play with a Morphling versus Beastmaster and Grimstroke. Beastmaster and Grimstroke is undoubtedly like Hoodwink and Rubick with Beastmaster is really strong duo, especially versus melee heroes, right? So if you see, I end up dying here, sadly, and my Morphling almost died as well. So we started this laning stage with almost, with the first blood, and Morphling having no health at this moment, right? So we play versus Beastmaster, so what you want to do is actually hook his boars, if possible, get level 2 and find 2v1 scenarios, right? I block the camp, usually block the camp here, you might find this ward. So again, it's the same thing. Morphling is fine versus versus Beastmaster. I'm doing great versus Grimstroke. For all I know, I could go for Orb of Venom here, but I was afraid with the boars and the Grimstroke, he might actually Inkswell me and I might die. And Beastmaster can connect, so I felt like I need a little bit more movement speed. So the game starts, and you see, I tried to hook here. I really want you to see, I just use casual hook as a nuke. If I had Crystal Maiden, I would use Q, but right now, I hook here. I don't attack them. I really want to mention I don't attack them because I'm gonna pull all the aggro and then I'm actually dead, right? The way to play against Beastmaster is to actually harass them all the time, but most importantly, kill the boss. We said that previously, we say that again. Now I don't have mana, I don't have hook. What do? Well, if the lane is like there, you just want to get level 2, so you can actually get rot and trade with the enemies, right? So look what I'm doing here. I'm trying to be useful. I'm not actually gonna hit this Grimstroke. I don't think I can even touch him, right? But I'm like, fuck off, get out of here, so my Morphling can actually last hit, right? So we get level 2 here, and if you don't know, here like Morphling has a level 3 power spike, but even with level 2, if he goes level 4 level 1, he can actually kill. Second of all, Morphling, unlike PL that we said in the previous example, is a type of hero that scales, just like Terrorblade, he scales great with levels. The more level he has, the better it is. In previous example, we wanted PL to get level 6 before Beastmaster so he can go jungle. If Beastmaster gets level 6 before PL, most likely is gonna die to a roar. But if he gets level 6, he can just go to the jungle. If Beastmaster gets level 6 before PL and PL is level 5, he'll still have to go to the jungle, but it is just so inefficient, you might as well stay in the lane. It's just so slow. That's why you want level 6 on PL before Beastmaster, okay? So what we did here, more consumables, because this is a lane that we need to sustain, right? And we find opportunities. And this is like, I'm waiting for the hook, right? And this is like a really good opportunity. He's out of position. It's literally 2v1. Look at that. I really doesn't matter that I missed that hook. We get a kill. I'm dying here. Doesn't matter. And we'll see that again. Here's what happens. You need to understand that we have 4 spells. They have 3. Even though Morphling, I guess attribute does not matter. And this guy's out of position. Like, this is what it means, out of position. The way, look how Grimstroke is just so far ahead, so far behind, sorry. And even if he wasn't, Inkswell requires 4 seconds, right? 4 seconds to actually pop. So look at that. I miss a hook. It will be great to actually hit the hook. I die, but it just doesn't matter. This is a lane that, if we're even, it is a win. If Morphling has more, it is absolutely insane. Okay, so I get the smoke. I could actually try to rotate mid lane, but again, if you play versus heroes that can disengage, it's a little bit hard. Salve my carry, give my items to carry. Really important to always have a salve, especially if it is a really hard carry like PL, Morphling, TB. You need to invest to these heroes to actually get the return investment and carry you. And look at this guy. He's alone. We try to make something happen. If I had Orb of Venom, I would probably go on him, but look at that. He's out of position. He does a really cool play with the boar. I miss a hook. Sadly, if we were to take this kill, it would be great because he doesn't have TP. And of course, at this moment, I think it's a good laning stage. And Right now, what you want to do is pull the lane back so you can do the same thing. Because if the lane is under here, it's so hard for us to make a move. And Morphling is not farming freely, you know. And I think that's also a really good example. Look at that. Look at that. This is what it means to go to understand what's going on. I hit. And that instant hook, like a nuke, you know, if you have a Crystal Maiden, you would do that. If you have a Lion, you would do that as a nuke. So even if I don't get the kill, at least I used this kill shot as a nuke for the opponent. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna man fight them. I don't care if I die. And we get the kill. Simple as that. You just man fight. What if I die? Doesn't matter. It actually does not matter. My Morphling, literally, look at that. He's level 4. 4 minutes in. Soon I think he's gonna be like level 5 or something. Like, he got so much XP. It is insane how much we did there just because we just man fight them, right? When you speak English, man. When you play Pudge, right, and you die, you always look around the other lanes. What if I rotate to other lanes? You always want to give yourself the opportunity to rotate to other lanes. I chose again not to do that in this game because I have a Morphling, and of course the laning stage is not over. What does this mean? More consumables. I have a Morphling versus Beastmaster. That's a really rough lane generally, right? So I try right now to move a little bit around the map. I feel like I have a lot of time to do that, and right now my Morphling got pressured. That was my mistake. 2v1 scenario for them. Shouldn't have left him there. Again, using hook as a nuke, and salving my carry, of course, trying to hook again, skill shot. The reason why I do this skill shot is because if I get to land the hook there, they're dead, right? But it's sometimes just the more levels you get, the harder the lane becomes. That's something that you need to realize. I'm hooking the catapult so they don't push. Classic Beastmaster move at the 5-minute mark. And I really want to show you the next 2-3 minutes because we actually end up dying here. You'll see how they kill my Morphling, sadly. Let's go a little bit faster. My Morphling here actually dies, Grimstroke actually a lot of damage, and then I'm the next one dying. And of course, we end up dying again, but you'll see what happens, right? We die. Is the laning stage over? My Morphling, for all I know, could go jungle with these items. He went for Falcon Blade. Morbid Mask is also really good on the hero. Ring of Health, depends on what you want. And right now, I'm just gonna walk there. I feel like something might happen. If you feel like nothing's about to happen, you can walk there. If you feel something is about to happen, you need to TP there. Right, and this moment, the lane stage is actually quite hard because if you see Beastmaster is level 6, that means if I or my Morphling gets roared, most likely it's gonna die, like here. But even now, I get to hook, use my ulti, and right now I start screaming at my team, and started screaming, and team finally reacted. Immortal level, let's go team, and we actually managed to get the kill here on the Beastmaster. Even if that wasn't the case, look at the net worth, 3k gold for my Morphling, 2.7 for the Beastmaster. Now our game plan is to somehow protect the tower, which I tried to do. I think I died once in my attempt to do that. The way to do it is Beastmaster is gonna have Helm of Dominator. What you want to do is actually hook that creep and actually relieve the pressure as much as possible. I think that's a really good example of man fighting, let's say going a little bit balls deep and actually not be afraid. I think that's a hard part about Pudge as a position 5 and as a position 4. So let's jump to another example to give you more food for thought to actually see how to play Pudge position 5. Let's go to another example right now where I get to play again versus a Rubick. It's quite common as a position 4 with a Tidehunter, and I have a Wraith King. Now, similar to Morphling and TB, Wraith King is a type of hero that doesn't really have a power spike, oh, I'm gonna get level 5, 6, 7, and I'm gonna farm really fast, but he scales really good with levels. I chose right now to go for Orb of Venom, one set of tangos, and Magic Stick. I didn't really go for Salve because I felt like Tidehunter is quite spammy as a hero, just like Bristol. He always uses his third spell, Anger Smash. So I'm like, I might as well just benefit immediately, and then I'm gonna sip an extra Salve if needed, right? Also, nowadays you can choose not to block this camp, for example, because you can get to, for example, farm it yourself. That's good food for thought. Depends on the game, right? So the game starts, and of course we don't really have a crazy level 1 power spike. So I'm using the hook here, Steal their bounty. I think that's a really solid start when you get to play with these greedy, not that strong carry heroes when you get to lane with them, right? So what you want to do is, again, Tidehunter with Rubick, really strong as a combo. Pudge and ratings like meh. We do have some kind of stun into hook potential, and that's why I got the Orb of Venom, right? I got the Orb of Venom mainly if we get the stun into hook, so we can just, you know, no one can escape from that. And also Orb of Venom is really good and versus Tidehunter if he's alone, because Tidehunter is the type of hero that can dispel anything, but he cannot dispel Orb of Venom and he cannot dispel Rot. So if I'm on top of him and he can't escape because I have too much health, he can't fight me back, he's probably gonna die. So again, look at what I'm doing, trying to trade with this guy. Of course, Tidehunter helps him, and you'll see that how we actually approach the lane. What I want to say is that even if you die, sometimes it just doesn't matter. I'm like, okay, Rubick, finally I'm gonna be useful in the lane. I try to justify my existence right now. Putting this one so I can farm it, pulling back, you know, trying to do something to justify my existence until I get at least my level 2. Getting the range creep here. He almost dies. I get the rod, and you see this is a really rough lane already, right? I'm gonna show the last hits as well. This is quite rough as a lane. Trying to hook. When you try to skill shot the hook, that means you're a little bit of, you know, you're somehow desperate. So I'm sitting here, maybe I find some skill shot, some hook here. And look at that, I see Rubick, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be useful, and I'm actually committing to that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I have no gold, look at that. I bought myself, it doesn't matter if I die, he got the kill, but it means absolutely nothing because he wasted all his resources, right? I just want to give my Wraith King as much, I really want you to show that, as much time as possible, right? Let's jump into that. I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna die, but at least I'm gonna make the most out of it, okay? Realized I have to stick right now, but I doubt it would save me, actually. And what do you do when you die? Try to see around the map, right? Try to see if you can make something happen, right? And this is what I actually do. I have a gyrocopter, I have a Lina that's stomping the mid lane, and look at that. I'm just sealing the deal here. I'm just instantly running to assist my Wraith King, right? So look at that. Rubick, 50% HP, and this is what it means to be tanky, right? I'm like, fuck it, let's go into that. Standing to hook, he can't escape, the skeletons are on top of him, and look at that. Right now, I would go on Tidehunter because it's a 2v1, but he's actually too tanky and we're just too low of health, right? So, salving my carry, what do we do? Trying to single pull, of course. Why single pull? Bring the lane back, right? Literally bring the lane back here. And of course, at this moment, I think we have a really fine laning stage. Tidehunter tried to chase me. I don't know why he does that. Probably has nothing better to do. And of course, right now it's nighttime. We saw Rubick in the mid lane. What does this mean? You see how I haven't skilled that? I'm like, okay, let's go kill this guy. Rot level 2, really, really good slow. Rot level 1 is like meh, but Rot level 2, too much slow. And of course, look at that, we just run him down with Orb of Venom. And why we do that? Because we know he's alone, Rubick in the mid lane. Right now, I think we have a really, really solid time. I try to, like, we stand into hook, but I think, like, honestly, we have a really, really solid time. If you see CS-wise, Tidehunter is really good generally versus Wraith King because he can actually anger smash the skeletons as well. But at this moment, I want to show this last thing. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna cook it. He's gonna die, I might as well just die myself, so I can, you know, stall them a little bit. And I think right now we have a really, really solid laning stage where I'm gonna show net worth. If you see like Wraith King, look at his net worth, and look at my Wraith King and look at the Tidehunter. I think right now the lane stage is quite over. I'm back to the lane. What I should also probably do is a place his word here because I felt like Tidehunter is gonna have a hard time right now and probably will go to the jungle. So I want to have information on him, but probably I should have a lane word here actually to see if rotations are gonna come. I think that's also a really solid lane stage where we actually you know, have a really hard time. I die in the beginning intentionally, but you see how we rotate in the mid lane and we actually kill top in 2v1 scenario. I've used level 2 power spike. I think that's also really solid as a game, so we might as well jump to another game. That's like the last thing I want to show. I don't intend to kill him. I'm like, get the fuck out of here and leave my Wraith King to actually farm. You know, level 6, Wraith King, level 5 Tide Hunter. The game couldn't have been better. This turned out to be a really good, solid victory in the mid game. The plan is really simple. I want to play with the Bounty Hunter, I want to play with an S, run them down, and I think, the game plan is quite simple. Well, so let's jump to another game to see, that Pudge is actually really strong, and it is not a joke hero. So without wasting time, let's jump to the next game. So let's jump to the next game, and this time I get to play Pudge with an Ursa, which is again not the greatest combo. I mean, we do have some kind of double slow, but we play with Rubick and we play versus OD. Double range versus double melee. On top of that, if you don't know, OD is probably one of the highest health, highest armor, highest damage, broken as fuck heroes. And well, Pudge is Pudge, like I'm not gonna lie. Like these two heroes are just too hard. Also, if we trade inside the creep wave, that's gonna be really hard because Fate Bolt is gonna reduce our damage, telekinesis. If we try to man-fight them, they have actually just so hard, but somehow we managed to pull a really good result. So let us see how we did that, right? So I felt, okay, we can do it. We might as well, find a 2v1 scenario in the bounty rune. Let's say we find Rubick, and then Rubick, we don't kill him, but he's too low, but the laning stage is going to start without him, so we might as well try to do something like that, But we saw Rubick coming with the lane ward here, and we are prepared, concussive shot, triple slow, it's just so hard. I tried not to steal the kill here, but, since I did it with the rod accidentally, I might as well try to go for the Windlace. And yeah, so the game plan right now is I also placed a ward here, but apparently Rubick had the ward over here, if you see. The game plan is be useful in the lane. So I want to relieve pressure from my Ursa. Like, honestly, when you get to play versus OD, you will rarely win the lane stage. So what I want to do is literally relieve the lane stage. And, like all of a sudden I'm just half HP. Like a couple of hits, I'm just half HP. So I felt like I just really need my hook here, right? I just really need my hook here. I find Rubick, just like the previous example and the example before that, I'm just trying to trade with him. And of course, like, if you have noticed, I'm gonna need a crap load of consumables. A lot of consumables, guys. Like, you need a lot of consumables this lane. Because I can't approach, the game as we are in the mid game at the 3-minute mark, right? So we got our level 2, and right now I'm so desperate. I'm trying to go for a skill shot, right? So desperate. My bad, by the way. I should have blocked this camp, like body block this one, and try to use my only sentry to deward my own camp, right? Again, I'm trying to skill shot that. Didn't really work out, and I feel like this moment this is the classic Pudge game. I need to somehow contribute, to the lane. I'm doing one more, like, look at that. I feel like this guy is out of position. I might as well, the way to contribute is somehow relieve pressure. That means take a little bit of damage and trying to deal some damage to the enemies, right? Another great hook here, and at this moment, I feel like I need to actually do more than that. And of course, again, I'm trying to relieve pressure as much as possible. I know it doesn't seem great, and I go for raindrops. I feel like maybe if I have raindrops and I have like raindrop is a little bit more health actually, I might be able to find the kill on on the opponents. Found the Rubick here, 1v1 scenario. OD instantly helps him, and I instantly disengage. I struggle a lot. Like before I die, I'm just gonna hook. Yeah, sure, I do die, but at least I relieve a lot of pressure. CS wise, we are not doing that bad. I die. What do I do? What do you do? Look around the map. Look top, look mid. Probably not top, right? Usually mid. I'm like, okay, I have a Queen of Pain versus Lena. If she daggers, like if I hook Lena, she can disengage, like Shadowfiend, Razor, Viper. When you see these heroes, you want to actually focus them, right? I'm having this salve, and look what I'm doing. I'm just trying, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't work out. I'm hooking there, and what do? Instantly go and help my Ursa, who struggles a lot. This guy's out of position, 2v1 instantly. I'm gonna rot, hook for nuke. Sure, my Ursa dies, but, killing Rubick, I know that this is a little bit bad, but killing Rubick is probably the best thing that we can actually do, right? And this is where, in my opinion, Pudge is really strong. People forget that you can get hooked under tower, right? He thinks he's so strong, but not that strong, right? He also wasted his TP Right now, look so much free far for my Ursa. This is literally free. What do? I'm gonna tell you what I'm not actually gonna do. You know, I'm like ideally I want to have a lane ward here to prepare the hook, right? And I realized that okay, there's no way he learns his lesson. That's not gonna happen. So I'm actually waiting to, maybe find another hook because I don't feel strong enough to actually, man fight the opponents. I feel like I'm already going into the mid game, so I might as well rotate and help my Queen of Pain, And right now I'm just trying to hook, doesn't work out. And yeah, as long as this guy's alone, all of a sudden he got his Meteor Hammer, and look what I'm doing. The moment I see the Meteor Hammer, like, fuck, I need to help my lane again. We didn't see that Meteor Hammer. And yeah, at this moment, too bad my Ursa died. If you see the networks, we're doing not that bad, but for the matchup, we are doing fine. Like, this is a really rough matchup, honestly. Like, OD. And lastly, again, what do? My Ursa is in the mid lane. Lina is probably the only hero I can kill. I feel like I can kill right now. Wraith King is just not really gonna happen. Like, probably gonna have a reincarnation. So I'm trying to hook, doesn't work out, and I think that's a really solid laning stage where you're so desperate and you try to land that hook, doesn't work out, but you do find yourself useful in other lanes, right? So you see, we smoke 7 minutes in to kill that OD. My position 1 rotates, my position 2 is already there. So what we actually do is, like, you see how 4 people actually try to play around this OD, and we approach the game already like we are in this mid game, right? And this is how you're supposed to approach pass. Approach like you're already in the mid game, right? And you see how we move around the map and try to create space. And this is how you actually play when you're playing from behind. Break the laning stage really early, right? And Pudge is really great into doing that. Again, skill shot here, but this is the power of Pudge. If I don't hook there, he doesn't die. But if I have any other hero in the game, he also does not die from the position I am. This is why Pudge is so strong. Zero risk, right? Zero risk, 100% reward if you land the skill shot. I think that's a good example, and let's jump to another example. I'm almost like, I'm gonna die obviously here, but I'm level 6, right? I'm level 6, 9 minutes in. Really good example. In the meantime, my Ursa is farming, and I think that's a good laning stage. Let's jump to the last example, most likely, where we approach the laning stage completely different. Welcome back, and this is gonna be the last example as Pudge position 5, but don't worry, we're gonna make one more video about just the position 4 role. And right now in this example, in this laning stage, I get to play with the Weaver. She's really like Weaver Pudge. It's like similar to Troll, similar to Luna, similar to Drow Ranger. Sadly, Weaver is not the type of hero that's gonna close a gap, so I can just hit them. But she has a lot of damage, so I'm fine with that. Anyway, the laning stage starts, and we get to play versus Spiritbreaker and Wisp. Now, if you think these two heroes, I can't really separate them. In the other examples, when I were to trade with the Rubicks, or I can't recall the other support, at some point they would just split, so I'll be able to just man fight them. I'm like, okay, Wisp is always next to the creep wave. He's always tethered to someone, and he can always disengage to tether away. And on top of that, let's say even if I were to trade, Spiritbreaker is just gonna charge me, and I can't really split them into 1v1. Of course, Spiritbreaker is the type of hero that if I get Orb of Venom, I get Gilon armor, I get Gilon health, I can't really run him down with Orb of Venom. In the end, he can always just charge away, So what I thought is, okay, maybe I'll just go for Ring of Protection. I'm gonna be in a position that if we trade, I'm gonna have good odds to actually sustain both of them with a little bit more armor. And of course, Urn of Shadows maybe makes a lot of sense, and Vessel versus Wisp, and versus satanic carries like Luna. So I thought, okay, let's start with Ring of Protection to have a little bit more armor, to be in a position to actually be inside the creep wave, to actually trade with Spiritbreaker. Okay, I thought that was really clever. Maybe it wasn't. Feel free to type down in the comments. So the laning stage starts, and the problem is that my Weaver ended up lagging a lot. So we actually started with the best possible start, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Checking for ward there, doesn't work out, and look what I'm doing. already one set of tangos more. I'm gonna need more health for sure. It's not, none of us is gonna find a direct kill. Whoever is gonna trade favorably is gonna go for that, right? And look what happens. I'm like, okay, Wisp is here. I'm trying to force his tether, right? I try to force his tether. I'm like, okay, you see how tanky, let's say, I am? I'm like, okay, I can trade with you right now. I have a lot of armor. And look what my Weaver does. Sadly, she lags, and this is probably the worst possible start. Don't worry, we try to actually turn this around. Sadly, I really don't want to like attack the creep wave at all. I don't really want to push it. I'm trying to deny it. Securing creeps. Again, Pudge has the highest, one of the highest attack damages early on. His right click is really strong, and right now we have to show a little bit of respect because most likely they're gonna get level 2 faster than us. Look at that. I'm level 2, but my Weaver is level 1, and they're level 2. What does this mean for us? We have to chill a little bit to respect them because look at that. They get level 2 and they force instantly. That's really smart out of them, right? And look what I'm doing. I think that's really good play here. And this is why I think Ring of Protection actually paid a lot of value. Look at that. I would have died without the Ring of Protection. And we get the return kill, which is really good, let's say, because my Weaver takes all the experience. What does this mean for me? I get to die, and what do? We check the mid lane. Okay, Invoker. Maybe we can actually run him down. I didn't really feel that comfortable that I'm gonna kill him. Why is that? Because I don't really have Orb of Venom, right? So he can actually run away. And look what happens. I tried to kill him. I land the hook, but you know, he just tornadoes TP out, which is a victory because if you see, he actually TPs back to the lane. And right now, if you play versus Pagna, it's already a tough matchup because he can always decrep and he can actually out deny you. And I feel like this is actually one of the reasons why the mid matchup went so well. Just this hook, he had the TP out, 100 gold wasted, and a lot of resources to come back. Back to the lane though. What happens is the ward, of course, so we can actually use a small camp. I'm trying to pull here. I didn't block this camp. I felt like, okay, I can just body block it because Wisp is not really gonna trade with me. You know, he's always gonna be in the lane. So if I go there and casually walk, no one is actually going to, you know, harass me. And if I go and, you know, if they try to pull it, for example, and I'm not in position, I can just walk at them and I can just walk at them and no one can really harass me. You know, they have to commit a lot, you know, charge and so on. So that's a great hook, by the way, here. No, what the fuck was that? Probably some kind of misclick. I'm like, like, great. So losing a lot of health here, right? So we are in this really tough situation, right? Really tough situation. You see my Weaver is not really doing that well. She's actually lagging. They try to pull here, you know, doesn't really work out. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll find, like in the previous OD game, some kind of skill shot, you know. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. Let's farm it. That's like one of the reasons why I don't block this camp. I'm like, okay. The reason why I also did that is because look at the creep wave. It's literally inside the, it's almost under tower. And of course, look at that. Wisp is literally out of position. I just ran them down. No creep wave. I'm a lot of tanky. Slow health doesn't work out. And look at that. I'm just man fighting them. Man fight. I'm like, okay. Look at Wisp. And I got a little bit unlucky here, you know. I'm like, okay, minus armor. I'm gonna hit one more time. Can you just fucking bust once? Come on. Like, if only I were to hook here. And sadly, my Weaver here, if you see, lags. She can use Shukuchi. She didn't, like, she lags a lot. So that would be a return kill. So we would actually come back. What does this mean for me? I died. Probably, am I going back? Am I going top? It depends on the situation, right? I chose that I'm probably not gonna kill top. So I went there. Wisp out of position. Look at that. I get to... this fucking hero, man. Pagna comes, but let's go back a little bit to see what's going on. I get to like man fight this guy. Yeah, Pagna is coming. I didn't actually see that in game, right? And okay, I felt like, okay, I'm gonna salve you. I'm gonna give you, Mango, and maybe we can use Shukuchi here. I got bust. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna probably hook you before you do that. Anyway, really good kill. And I feel like that's not that great of a laning stage, but you see that we actually try to always split them, always find good opportunities to hook where you can't really escape. And if you feel like you're gonna use skill shot, you might as well not do that. Always remember in the back of your head, can I just run them down? This game is a little bit difficult, but the way to play Pudge is literally man fight. Literally go on top of them, rot, and start hitting them, right? I think that's a way to play Pudge. I think that's my way to play Pudge, and this is what I do in the lane stage. Because again, I'm not the greatest Pudge player, even though I have a lot of games. I'm not great of a Pudge player. I miss a lot of hook. I get flamed even more. But in the end, usually my laning stages are pretty good. And the reason why I do that is because I actually get to run at the opponents. You know, just get an Orb of Venom and just run them down. And at this moment, I feel like, you know, I try to stack 7 minutes in jungle items to give my Weaver because this is a really extended laning stage. But I feel like, you see, let's go back a little bit. I think I should close the video with that. Is we try to go for a play there. Again, not the greatest pass player. I hook my Weaver. He didn't really actually get mad, right? But at this moment, I have more levels. Spiritbreaker is about to get to level 6, if I recall. Yeah, Spiritbreaker is level 6 at this moment. We can't really fight them. CS-wise, it's even. For a matchup that we actually gave first blood, we are doing fine. This could have been a lot better, but but I want to show the itemization, the different approach versus this Spiritbreaker Wisp combo. Sorry about that again. Lastly, you see that, you know, doesn't work out, and for me, it is time to actually move to. I see the charts. I'm like, okay, fuck it. Decrep, you can't really miss that hook. Just run them down. I'm just gonna show a little bit to show how strong Pudge is. You know, I just man fight them. Rot level 3, so he can't escape. He has used charge. Rot level 3, look at that. And you see how the whole team rotates. And right now, look how I'm half HP, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm going all in. Doesn't matter if I die. Literally, does not matter. Yeah, so I think that's also really solid laning stage. Again, I'm gonna show net worths. My Weaver is a little bit higher than Spiritbreaker. Also, Weaver is not the type of hero that farms that fast. She needs something like a Maelstrom, a little bit of levels. So yeah, that's also a pretty fine laning stage. Too bad my Weaver lagged, but it's really solid on how to actually approach a laning stage, and on top of that, on how to always adapt to what's going on. So I want to say some final few words about the hero. What you want to do in the mid game, right? What you want to do in the mid game is not, you know, go for other lanes, right? Skill shot and stuff. If you play position 5 Pudge, the problem is that you'll die a lot because you're usually not in the backline rather than somewhere in the mid, and you're quite squishy. Because if you've seen in any of the games, I had a lot of gold. So in my suggestion, what you want to do is always play around Aghanim Shard. It is insanely strong. It is really solid. It can be game changing, and most of the games are usually good Pudge games. You play versus I don't know, Grimstrokes and stuff. You can always hook people out and dismember them. Versus Void, versus Beastmaster, versus most type of heroes, you want to have good positioning so you can hook and dismember your allies. And always, usually, what I end up having is Ghost Scepter, right? Ghost Scepter, let's say, because you're quite squished in terms of armor, right? Usually you have the flash keep and a lot of strength, so you're usually sustaining in terms of magical damage. But please don't try to skill shot. Of course, you can go for Dagger, Glimmer Cape, Force Staff if you're rich as fuck. But usually, from my experience as position 5, that is not the case, right? You will struggle a lot finding golds. You will find gold later, but no matter what you'll buy, please buy Aghanim Shard as second items. For example, Etherlens into Aghanim Shard, Glimmer Cape into Aghanim Shard, Ghost Scepter into Aghanim Shard. Probably by 20-25 minutes in, you can have both of these items. Dagger into Aghanim Shard. It's just so important to actually play as a support, right? And not as this guy who's gonna skill shot and just make fun and fuck around and have lots of fun. You actually, I'm making this video to make the hero a support, to actually support your team. And if you had something like, for example, Lion, Crystal Maiden, you would do the same thing. You would go for Lotus Orbs and Glimmer Caves and Force Stuff and Daggers, but you wouldn't get, I don't know, like, you wouldn't just fuck around, playing Pudge, I'm having fun, and grief your team. No, this is not a video about grief. This is a video for Pudge players to make them understand that how you're supposed to play the hero in the laning states. Regardless, this is a guide. Itemization is quite simple in the hero. one item plus Aghanim Shard unless you're really desperate. Laning stage we just showed. In my opinion, I have great success with Pudge. Again, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and like. I really want to mention that these type of videos make, require a lot of effort, a lot of gains, a lot of experience, and a lot of coffee. So I might not care about likes and comments. You might not care about that, but the YouTube algorithm actually does care, and it actually helps me a lot to understand how much community loves it or doesn't like it. Depends on the likes, comments, and so on, and the views. So that's it. Part 2 is gonna be in a few days, hopefully by the end of the next weekend or like in 1 week. Hopefully you do enjoy that. GG, and I'll see you on the next video.